How y'all doing? This is DeVaris Bell, your favorite realtor, and I'm here right now at one of my new listings, 1828 Lower Avenue in Fort Worth, Texas. Today I have Breland Bryant. He's a Texas appraiser, and I want him to kind of talk about the appraisal process, why appraisal process is important when purchasing a home, and to shine some light on why this house is perfectly priced based on the comps in the area. So.
All right. Like you said, I'm Breland Bryant, Texas appraiser, license number 1350800 in the state of Texas. So I'm just here. I'm going to point out some things, man. I'm taking a look at this listing so I can kind of show y'all, especially realtors as well, how and some things you can look at and tell you about the price in this home. And let's see if it's priced right. Full disclosure, I did not price this house. I did not put a value on it. So there we go. Let's take a look. Follow me. Rolling up blinds. I'm looking at what kind of windows we have. Now, that's not going to too much affect the value as much, but it also lets me know what kind of builder and what kind of aesthetics they put in the house. So everything looks good here. I would consider this a bedroom because of the size of it and the closet, but they have it as a gym and an office space. So we walk into the other bathroom. We got granite countertops, great backsplash here for the bathroom. I'm taking that back. I'm taking pictures. I'm looking at the toilet. Toilet's brand new. Toilet looks good. I'm looking at, once again, floors. We got tile floors. Tile floors look good, look very intact. So everything here is pretty new. Now, if you look at your appraisal report, as some people don't really pay attention to the whole thing, but this house, I would probably give it a C3. A C3 is a condition, and every appraisal has to have a condition of the house. Right now, this is a C3. You're probably asking why. C1 is a new construction. C2 is a house that's been completely rehabbed, not really been lived in, and C3 has been lived in, and it's got very little wear and tear. All right, same thing, looking at closets. Opening up closets, making sure it's not anything like crazy, making sure ain't nothing like a spare room in closets, because you'll be surprised what you see when you go in some houses. You'll have rooms that you have to get through other rooms, which is something that as appraisers we have to document. Once again, looking at window cracks, making sure the windows are good. This is here. I would snap and take a picture. Add it to the report very quick. All right, so we're gonna come around. Let's go to what everybody likes to see, the kitchen. As I come to the kitchen, granite countertops is good, standard. Looking at kitchen cabinets. Look good. Looking at the appliances, making sure the appliances are in there. Now, here's something else as well. People probably don't know. A lot of times when you're doing appraisals, especially now, a lot of your banks or even just buyers as well, they want installed microwaves. Not microwaves that you sit on the counter. They want them installed. That's part of the appraisal process as well. So I'm looking at those. Once again, checking kitchen floors. I'm looking at the lights. They got recessed lighting. Looking good. Take a snap, take a picture. I'm moving on. Everybody wants to know why, man. It seems like when you appraisal, man, y'all just come in, take pictures, and y'all leave. Because it's really a fast process. It don't take a lot of time. Looking over here, I'm looking at the laundry room. I'm just making sure that it has a hookup. Water, hot, cold. That looks good. Take a picture. I'm out of here. Real quick. This whole process is quick. Garage. Now, as we come into the garage, I want two things. I want to make sure that one is actually a 2-car garage. A lot of times you'll see these garages where they have 2 cars can fit into them, but they fit as 1 car goes in, another car goes in behind it. Is a 2-car garage. That is incorrect. In order for it to be considered a 2-car garage, 1 car must be able to fit next to another car. Doesn't matter the size of car, it needs to be a standard size car. Usually most garages are about 480 square foot. This is about 480 square foot. This is a 2-car garage. We check the box. Looking at your water heater. I go to the water heater. I'm looking. This looks like an electric water heater. I'm taking the picture. The bank wants to know that it has a water heater there. Looking at the electric panel. Open the panel. Take a picture. Boom. This is important because the bank wants to know, hey, is this house standard and up to code? If you do not have a water heater, the bank will not loan you the money for this house. So that's important as what we do for appraisals. All right, before we go outside, let's go back in. Let's go to the living room real quick. I skipped over one thing too. Dishwasher. Dishwashers are pretty standard for your for an appraisal and or by the buying process as well. Now, you don't have to have a dishwasher in the house, but that can affect the value. So, for example, let's say if this house was backed up and there was this huge industrial commercial space in the back. Somebody might not like that. They might not like the view. And they say, hey, I don't like the view. I'm willing to go down on the price because I don't like the view. So those are some things we have to pay attention to as appraisals as well. But in this case, it's all good. It's all residential. Here's a question I get a lot. Man, I got a new fence. Don't they help my value? What do the neighbors have? That's the question you should ask you. What do all your neighbors around you have? Do all your neighbors have fences? If the question is yes, then it probably won't affect it because people want the same thing their neighbors have. If all the neighbors don't have it and you have a fence, maybe the buyer will pay more for that. It's all about what the market wants. Now, let's stay outside because people will not give you the price that you want if you don't have central AC and heat. If you have a window unit, people might be like, I wanted some central AC and heat, so I'm gonna have to pay for that myself. But because of that, you don't have to worry about that. So I would snap a picture, let the bank know, hey, Mr. Bank, they have a central heat and air conditioning. All right, now also I'm looking, now this is probably not gonna affect the value as much, but I'm also looking on the appraisal report, you'll see things about the exterior. So I'm looking and seeing if we have gutters. I'm looking and I'm checking what kind of exterior we have. We got hardy board exterior. We got aluminum gutters, that's good. The water flow is gonna push the water out. That's gonna be good because that way when it rains, your foundation don't get messed up. I have it sitting water. We got a slab. The house is sitting on a slab. It's not a pier beam and crawl space. I'm noticing that. I'm walking around and I'm looking at other things I can see, like for example, the windows as we saw on the inside. From the outside, I see that these are double pane windows. And as we go to the front up here, you can see that the exterior changes. We have a brick, or you can say brick, siding along with stucco. So I would let the bank know, hey, right around here, we got stucco and brick. Now I'm pretty sure this is the garage area here where it changes. So for the garage, they made it stucco and brick. So everything looks good. I'm also looking for, like I say, foundation issues is the main thing that can affect your value here. But no cracks, house is new. So if it did have anything wrong with it, that's when I'd be kind of worried. Now I do see something. Now it's not too bad, but if you look right here at this column, you can kind of notice from an angle it's bold. Now it's not gonna, like I said, this is not a huge deal. The bank's still gonna fund along with this. So it's not like it's a important beam for the structure of the house that keeps it up, but this is something that I see and I kind of keep in my mind just in case. Now, let's go back in. And there's one more thing that is very important that banks really want to know. Let's go to this hallway over here. I'm gonna pull down this attic. Yes, you gotta go in the attic. Now, a lot of times in your newer homes, you'll have the water heater on the inside of the attic. Sometimes on the outside, but just depends on the builder. Now, one thing I want to make sure, and I'm not gonna come all the way up here, I'm looking at the insulation. If this house was purchased by FHA loan, if you have an FHA buyer and there is no insulation in the attic, you will not get that loan. The banks want to see, and I have to get up in there and take a picture and let them know that this house has insulation in the attic. I repeat, I've seen it happen. If you don't have insulation in the attic, which you would think people would, but they don't, the bank is not gonna fund that loan. Now, after I've taken all my pictures, I've done it, taking about, I'd probably say, depending on the size of the house, this is a standard house, 1,600 square foot. Probably take about 20 minutes to get through this house. This is where I would go and use my tools. I would get that, I would get my measuring tape, I would get my laser, and I would start measuring everything on the outside. And that's gonna show the bank exactly the square footage of the house. Now, I'm gonna take a quick measurement of just some of it, not all of it, just so I can give you an idea of what appraisers, what we actually measure. And that's a huge part because a lot of people think that we actually measure the entire house, which is false. So already right here, if I'm measuring this house, you can start from anywhere, it doesn't matter. But this is where I'm pulling out my handy dandy laser, okay? So I'm measuring from corner to corner on the outside. 16 foot. I'm measuring from this wall to this wall. That's 4.8 feet. I'm measuring here to here. Okay, that's 8.19 feet. Now, as I'm measuring, I have software where it's already going into my phone, and I'm telling it which direction it is. So that's how I'll be able to calculate the square foot at the end. All right, so here comes the trick, right? When you look at this house, you see the whole house and you see the garage. The garage is not part of your square footage. A lot of people think that the house is bigger than what it is, but it's not part of the living space. We call it GLA, gross living area. So what I would do, I would measure this garage. I'm not gonna measure because I know it's about 480 square foot. But I would measure this garage, and after I measure the whole house, I'm gonna subtract the garage square footage, which is about 480 square foot. So me knowing that this house is 1,600 some odd square foot, with the garage itself, that would add a total of 2,000 so square footage. So, and I also use my tape measure because some things sometimes you can't measure everything with the sun. So just as simple as, so yeah, all I'm gonna do is pull this out. And boop, right there is 20.2. Now the tape measure, and boop, right there is 20.2. Now the tape measure obviously is more accurate than a laser, but they're very close. The only time I really use the tape measure is for like when you can't see the laser, which is in the sun. So that's a quick little run through on what I look at as far as the house itself. So, like I said, this is just a quick appraisal on the property. I'm not personally responsible for the appraisal on this property because once again, I did not do the appraisal on this property. However, if you want to know who did the appraisal on the property, you have to get that information from either the homeowner or the bank itself. Now, in order to get an appraisal, and the importance of the appraisal, and I see this happen a lot, appraisal might cost you on this house maybe $600, right? Some people will skip the appraisal to have a stronger contract offer. If you know what you're doing, that's a good idea. If you don't know what you're doing, which is about 75%, 80% of America, I say you spend $600 before you put a $330,000 investment, which is the current listing price of this house, estimatedly. You're spending $600 to make sure that this house has the value that it has, that all its components are there and it's working, to make sure that the comps and everything, there's no inflation in the price. There's no undervalue in the house that you're going in, because you might go in and as soon as you buy the house, the value goes down. There's a whole bunch of different instances. So it's very important that you get an appraisal on the property or the house in which that you plan on making your home, especially if you're just a home buyer, unless you know what you're doing. Now, one more thing I want to mention. I always look at the neighborhood. If you notice, this is our neighbor. Our neighbor right next to us, I can tell because I've been doing this, but this builder here, and we got a neighbor next door, that builder there, that house there, all built by the same builder. Now, if you notice across the street, and so this area, I like to call it up and coming area, because a lot of these older homes are getting destroyed. They're clearing out the land and they're building new residential properties on this land. As an appraiser, those are the comps I'm looking for. I'm looking at different builders. So let's say this is ABC builder. I'm looking for who built this other house down the street. Is that the same builder or is it a different builder? I want to get at least 2 or 3 builders within the same area, and I want to get one random builder in the same area, but kind of within what the market allows me. So usually within a mile. And those are what I use for my comps. I can't say that for everybody, but that's how I go about getting my comps for something like that. Because this house has only been bought once. This is a resale. Also, I don't want to compare this resale house to a new construction house. That's not the same comp. I want to compare condition 3s to condition 3s. So, like I said, I'm looking around the neighborhood and I notice those things. So those are something that I as an appraiser, we have to know. We have to know geographical competency. We have to know the area before we can put a value into the house. Because you want to know, is this house just inflated because it's just the best house in the neighborhood? Or is this house value really the value what the market is telling me? So all these things are important. So within 30 minutes, my mind is going like a spider web. Pew, 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 pew. And within 30 minutes, I got all the information I need. I have all the pictures I need. I've talked to the realtor prior to. I've talked to the homeowner. I've talked to, or sometimes it could be an investor. Sometimes it could be an appraiser who's appraised the house before. I'm getting as much information as I can. And that's when I go home and I spend the real time at home doing the paperwork part of the appraisal. This is an appraisal right here. It's a short, sweet, to the point appraisal. This is what we do. This is why it's important for you to have an appraisal. I'm Breland Bryant, Texas license number 1350800.